All right, so if you realize that the way to grow your own medical practice online for now is to block out all the distractions and focus solely on creating YouTube videos, then I want to make sure that your channel is aligned in a way that attracts more of the perfect patients for your private practice so that you're not wasting time and you're not frustrated because you're not seeing the results. In this video, we're going to cover the 3 key components or principles of your successful YouTube channel. But before we dive in, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ryan. Over the last few years, I've helped many clinicians and doctors help more people. I've helped them go from a slow trickle of referrals to 20 plus intro calls in a month. I've helped them sell thousands of dollars worth of products. And with these videos, I just want to help you avoid the same mistakes we've made. And I also want to prove that the advice that I'm giving actually works. All right, so let's get into these 3 key components here. The first component and most important is defining your core promise and ensuring that all your videos align with it. This is something that you've heard of before, maybe in a different way, like your unique value proposition or your mission statement. And I want you to think of it like this. When you meet with a patient for the first time, you're going to uncover where they're at, what they're going through, where they want to be or get back to, and then you're going to determine what intervention or treatment protocol or whatever the means are to get them from point A to point B. And so those same parameters that you define and uncover when you work with the patient are the parameters that are going to fit into your core promise. And your core promise is a 1-sentence story of the patient journey. An example, let's say you're a gut health expert, would be you can go from suffering with frequent GI issues that make you afraid to want to leave the house for more than an hour to enjoying a night out per week with friends, symptom and pain-free through the 5 hours of gut healing, right? Something like that, something super direct, and it's just 1 sentence that explains the patient journey. Now, it's just up to you to decide what your specialty is, what you're going to specialize in. And one thing to point out here and note is that I know it sounds like you might be pigeonholing yourself or it's scary to focus just on one thing, but in your practice, you can still take referrals, you can work with whoever you want to work with, but in terms of your messaging and what you put out online, especially when you're first growing a YouTube channel, you gotta be super dialed in, direct, because that's going to build the trust with the viewer and get them to subscribe and watch multiple videos. And it's also going to tell the YouTube algorithm what your channel is about, and it's going to allow YouTube to send your videos to the right people. It's really important to just have that core promise, have that specialization, and you don't really deviate from it. You don't have a channel that focuses on like all these different conditions, all these different supplements, all these things that are unrelated, because it'll only dilute your efforts and make it much harder to grow. And this leads to the second key component, which is to list out all the small problems that you're helping them solve in relation to the main problem. So each individual small win is going to be its own video. And this is super helpful for them to binge multiple videos, them to get small wins and not feel overwhelmed, and also for multiple people that are on that same path to drop in at different points. And the third key component is to cover case studies or patient stories. Now, I'm sure you've heard and I'm sure you know that there's no better piece of content or type of video that will sell and convince people more than a case study. And it's no different in medicine. It's particularly impactful and critical when it comes to medicine, because people want to see that others have overcame these health issues that they have, that they're not alone, right? And nothing does a better job than stories, as you know. So make sure you just jot down multiple different patients that you've helped. You can even feature them in your videos if they are comfortable or you're comfortable with that. You can keep it anonymous, but as long as you make note of the similar people that you've helped that are also on that same journey, then those videos will lead to more intro calls of qualified patients that want to work with you. So, in summary, the 3 core components are defining your core promise, listing out all the small problems and focusing on just one video topic at a time that solves each small problem, and to focus on case studies and patient stories in your videos. In the next video, we'll cover what I think is one of the largest obstacles preventing you from consistently attracting the perfect patients, which is all about consistently creating YouTube videos. So stay tuned for that video and I'll see you there.